Alafia, I'm Philip John Neimark, the founder of the IFA Foundation International, and I'd like to welcome you to yet another iteration of the weekly Ifascope. For those of you who are not aware, the weekly Ifascope is a broad-based, all-inclusive look at the events of the upcoming week. In other words, from the first of this coming week through the end of it, that we will all face. Now, it cannot deal with each and every one of your series of events. Those are all going to be different. If we were doing individual divination, if in other words, if you came to me and said, please divine for me, we could examine your events. But you can't examine the events of hundreds or thousands of people who stop by and they want to know what the answers are. What we can do, of course, is we can rely upon Orumila to provide us with the behavior that we need, the way we react to these events in a way that will absolutely give us the best possible results. We all have a kind of a knee-jerk response over time. We're more comfortable being aggressive or assertive, or more comfortable pretending it didn't happen. We're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, and on and on and on and on. And that's what we do week after week after week after week. Sometimes, by the way, we hit a week where it makes sense, and we say, aha, see, it is right. But the right component is to ask Orumila each week what his observations of tens or hundreds of thousands of these events of people who are losing their job, of getting their job, of losing the boy, of getting the boy, of losing the girl, of getting the girl, and on and on and on and on. What will work best and what has worked best from the beginning of time on all of those situations. So this week, the Odu is Idi Ofu. Now, one of the things we do always is we look at the Odu and we say, is it the temporal everyday side, the Idi side, which is being predominant, and normally that is going to be the case, or is it going to be Ofu, the spiritual and emotional side, and is that going to be the decider, as it were? Well, it was very, very close, really very, very close. But the reading came slightly off path. Sorry about that, but that's the way it is. So we have to take and push it up so that it's legal, so that it is equal once again. Then we can go on with our lives. We don't want to miss that opportunity to do so. We don't want to pretend it doesn't exist. But it's not an earth-shaking situation. At any rate, what I started to say earlier is that in this instance, it is the configuration of a food with which we're having trouble. That is going to be the Odu which decides whether or not we are properly handling our events for the coming week. And Ofu is about wisdom and knowledge. Ofu is the Odu, I like to say, it's the Babalaw's closest friend, because it speaks about wisdom and knowledge, giving us the answer for truth. Not some commandments or not some tracts put down by some religious leaders, but about truth, about how the world works, about how people treat each other, how we should treat the planet, how we should treat the animals, how, on and on and on. And then when we're faced with a situation which says, how do I behave? We quickly and we choose that which is best for everyone. So, at any rate, it was Otura Erosu, suggesting the Otura as we should have been taken some calm and some time, get some other people's point of view, and the erosion is we need to measure twice and cut once. We didn't do that, so we're going to go back and do it now. If we don't, it's going to negatively impact our relationships. And relationships are a funny kind of a thing, we can live with them, but it's harder to live without them. So we want things to go pleasantly. But we also want them to go balanced. We want them to go in a way where the people that we associate with and the people that are important to us are doing the right thing along with us. In order to address the situation of relationships, to put it back here, it requires an offering to Obatala. Obatala being the closest thing we have to Orumila. Obatala saying we need the peace, the calm, the clarity, the absolute, desire to get done with this, to get on with it, to do things the right way, not to do shortcuts, not to take the quick, expedient thing which makes it look great for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and then everything goes, down the drain. And it's a pretty obvious implication with the abode. The abode is coffee, black coffee, to Obatala. And what you do is you take your Obatala down, or if you don't have an Obatala, take what suffices for Obatala. Light a single white tea candle and give him a cup of coffee, black, on the altar that you're setting up, and pray to him to give us the clarity, the wisdom, the focus on what's going on so that we can make the correct decisions and straighten out our relationship problems. And by the way, somebody wrote in, they wanted to know how do they dispose of the abos? Do we leave it there forever? Do they get stinky? What is the process? Well, it's a little different with everything, but there's a basic rule. Don't let the offerings go badly. You say, well, is that 2 days? Is it 3 days? Is it whatever? Well, it's interesting because Vas and I have seen, and we have indeed participated in offering a whole watermelon to Yemoja and placing it down on the ground in front of Yemoja in our home and having it stay ripe and viable for over 6 months. Incredible. I've never seen anything like it, but it happened. On the other hand, we could take a fresh bouquet of flowers just cut and offer it to Oshun or Oya, whoever. And I have seen those flowers go like this and die in the first day. Now, I have also seen the flowers last for a long time. I have seen the watermelon last, as I said, 6 months or more, but also a week. So it isn't as easy as saying, well, what are the rules? The rules are, no, the rules are keep an eye on the above, because how it reacts will give you some idea about how your matrix is dealing with it. Whether you get it or not. If you get it, you'll be in sync, you'll understand the meaning of how quickly it deteriorates, and when it does, move it out to the woods or the garbage or whatever. Until next week, Philip Neimark saying love and blessings.